Top five, top five, top five.
So talk back with another video. I'm Strange Wayne. He is Nate. Today we're coming with, before we do our top 5 best and worst, top 5 most disappointing movies of 2020. How does this list work?
So he's going to start with his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3-2, 3-2, and we trade off number ones. We also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means if we both have the same movie on our list, but one person has it 2 spots or higher, they'll call it Zemeckis, and we won't talk about it till we get to it on their list.
So I'm going to go ahead and start with my 5 and 5 because it's my YouTube channel. I have 2 number 5s.
Oh.
I don't give a shit.
I think it's okay though because they're very similar.
It's okay. My 5's a cheat too, but
These aren't bad movies. I like these movies, and it is Big Time Adolescence and The King of Staten Island because Pete Davidson's in both of them. He's kind of a bum in both of them.
he's Pete Davidson. in both
I
of
was
them.
expecting like a lot of emotion in both of them, and that was the problem I have with these movies. I really like it took me a long time, but I slowly really like Pete Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
Way he dresses similar how I dress. He has a taste in rap music that I have a similar taste in rap music, a lot of Wu-Tang Clan, older 90s stuff. So it feels like I'm going in with some relatability, and that's easy to build investment off of that. And that's what I was looking for in both of these movies, a lot of investment. But the investment I got is similar to a pothole. You hit a pothole, you fill it, a minute later, it's gone. It's there and went. Now, a pothole has some kind of depth to it. Not a lot. Like these movies. What I expected and what I wanted out of these movies is the depth of, I don't know, a lake. You drive your car in a lake, you take that bitch out, 2 weeks later, your car is still feeling the effects of going into the lake because of the depth. It got sunk in, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted from these movies. I wanted a week, 2 weeks from later, I'm like, man, that was a good movie. And still have these lingering emotions. I can go back and watch it again and again and again. Which I probably will, because they're fine movies. They're just not what I wanted. I was disappointed. Hence the title of the video.
Yeah. Really poor expectations on your part. It's still Pete Davidson.
So,
My number 4 is Hillbilly Elegy.
That's my number 5.
I thought it'd be really good. I thought it'd be a really good movie, because the trailer looked awesome. It had the Terminator in it. And I was like, okay, I'm here for it. And what did I get? I get a long, overdrawn, emotionless clusterfuck of a film. And that, in the words of Chief Keef,
It's my number 5, and like I said, it's technically a cheat for me because I haven't seen it.
oh wow.
But that trailer really got me, and I was like, I'm gonna love that movie. And then all the reviews started pouring in, and I was like, that has to be a really bad movie, and now I'm just not even gonna watch it.
All the reviews, huh?
Anyways, so that was my number 5. My number 4, sorry in advance. I know you like this movie a lot. It's The Invisible Man. And the reason that it's my number 4 is because I saw it like way late. So I spent probably 4 months hearing you talk about how much you loved it. And
Yeah, because it was only
no. And I'm not crapping on you for loving it. I'm glad you love it. But against my better judgment, and I thought I learned this lesson a long time ago, I listened to you.
And what the fuck that mean?
Which is like, why would anyone listen to him? I don't know. I don't get it. Look at that face. Look at these clothes. Why would you listen to him? But I did, and I let my expectations get way up there. And then it was like, that was fine.
My number 3 is Antebellum. This movie,
So fucking terrible.
I feel like personally, you have a great overarching story. It's a horror, thriller, Matrix film with racists, putting black people back in slavery.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
If you go into a movie and you see slave owners and Nazis, it's really easy to invest. To I don't like these fucking people.
You know who the bad guys are.
I like the hero more, and it elevates the hero just based on knowledge of history. Now, with that being said, this movie sucks, and it's lacking in emotion, and it's confusing, and on top of that, it's like in the words of Colangino's father in A Bronx Tale, wasted potential. It's the worst thing in the world. And I feel like this film is wasted potential. You make this movie 10 times, you keep the lead actress, I liked her. You make this movie 10 times, 8 out of 10 times you're getting a good to great movie. I personally feel like they dropped the ball heavy on this, and hopefully I know it's going to remember this movie in 5 years. That's enough time. Let's get a remake. Jordan Peele, I don't want you producing it, I want you making it. Or someone else. This is a good movie waiting to happen. So that's my number 3. My number 2 was Kajillionaire. This had so much going for it from the trailer for me. I like quirky movies. She's a quirky character. It's a quirky family. And what's the family? A family of shysters. I love shysters. I was raised by a shyster. Instead of wolves, I was raised by shysters. It was incredible. In the hills of Mongolia, shyster was, you had to live to survive and survive to live.
What?
This movie has so much going for it. Again, no emotion. Like, why? Like, did we use all the emotion up in making the Mr. Rogers movie last year? I don't understand. Most of these films for me are lacking emotion.
Yeah.
And I'm a very emotional person.
You serious?
So when I go in a movie, a part of the reason why I'm going into a movie, I want to feel emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that. And I wanted to, and it would have been easy to, I think. I think you just focus on too much. I gotta be quirky because people like Wes Anderson's movies because he's quirky. But his movies have emotion and investment, and this movie does not.
Yeah.
This movie was honestly
a piece of garbage.
So my next 2, really my next 3,
also lacking emotion.
All have that same problem, and that was my issue with them. Number 3, especially because my number 1 and my number 2, they aren't necessarily like movies I would have expected to be super emotional, but they were still missing a lot of it to me. But my number 3 is literally, it's a romance, and it was flat as heck, and it was The Photograph. And like it has Lakeith Stanfield. I love that guy. He's great. But that movie was just really flat.
Didn't that come out in 2019?
Nope, 2020, early,
Okay.
like February, like it was like a Valentine's Day movie.
Makes sense.
The premise itself,
That's a good ass trailer.
it had so much potential. Like that could have been one really good, like gut punch movie, and not just like a gut punch, like something along those lines. But like it could have really taught people who watched it something about like feelings and expressing them. Because the issues that it deals with is like things that a lot of people, I feel like especially in like our generation, deal with, in that a lot of it is about like fear of commitment. A lot of it is about like, can I fully commit to an unconditionally loving relationship with someone without sacrificing my dreams? Like, and a lot of it is also about, how do I not let how my parents did love affect how I choose to do love? And those are all, like, there's so many good lessons that could have been taught in this movie, and instead it just stayed super surface level. There was nothing about it that really like hit those lessons in. It just said, these are the things this movie could have been about. Instead, here's a Hallmark movie. And that was just really disappointing. Maybe that should have been my number 1 the more I talk about it, but it's out there now. My number 2 is The Five Bloods.
Wow. I really enjoyed that movie.
I didn't like that movie at all.
At all?
Like, and I think so much of that is just expectation. And the thing that frustrates me about it is I don't know exactly what I expected. I love Spike Lee. And I love his movies. And it just, like, I felt like I couldn't connect to anyone. Like, I think that's what it is. And, like, I'm not a person who normally has a hard time connecting to characters who are different than me. So, like, the racial aspect has nothing to do with it because, like, I love Spike Lee's movies and I feel super connected to a lot of his characters. But for some reason, in this movie, Like, none of their relationships felt super fleshed out. Chadwick Boseman, maybe that was it. Maybe I just expected like more Chadwick Boseman in it and his character, because that was definitely the most interesting part of the trailer. But like, I don't know. Like, and I think that's what the frustrating thing about it was. I don't know what I expected. It wasn't what I got. And it just, like, it didn't stick with me the way that I would normally expect a Spike Lee film to. And I think that's what it is. I think I just hit it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me talk this out, guys. Spike Lee movies always have, like a big point and message to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And normally by the end of a Spike Lee movie, even if I didn't necessarily think it was like the best technical film I've ever seen, like that message sticks with me. Like, I'll use Black Klansman as an example because a lot of people don't like how it ended because it like gave you the happy ending, but then was immediately like, oh, hey, by the way, just because they like dealt with this one small sect of like racism, it still very much so exists. But I loved that. Yeah. Because it made me reflect. It keeps me reflecting on the fact that like there's hope, but like the war is still going on. And the Five Bloods didn't leave me with any of that. Like, there was hardly any takeaway from that movie that was different than another Spike Lee movie, or that like left me with as much impact. And it's just an expectation I have from his films, and it didn't meet that expectation. It was a good movie. Like, I'm not saying it was bad. It just was disappointing.
That's fair.
My number one is also a Netflix film. It is The Devil All the Time. Look at that cast.
Yeah, that was a great cast.
Cast is amazing. The story is just, you got too much in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to know about they're not pedophiles, are they? They're not raping people either because they're like willingly get in the car. The serial killers who have sex with the people and take pictures, that didn't need to be in there. There was too much stuff in here. I expected this like old, like almost like Night of the Hunter-esque film between Robert Pattinson's character and I guess that's exactly what it is. It's expectation. You got this guy, Robert Pattinson's character. He's a preacher, and the next thing you know, you see a guy in a church. He's got spiders crawling out of his mouth and whatnot. It's like, okay, he's like a cult type leader. You know, people are really invested in him.
Yeah.
Old Spider-Man, he ain't gonna stand for that. He's gonna get his spider shooters out and go to work. You know, you have this big like cat and mouse game. That's what the trailer told me. It looked very investing. It looked like I watched that trailer. And I was like, this could be the best movie of the year.
I thought the same thing.
I told someone. They was like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? And I was like, no, I'll have sex with you later. I was like, I got to watch this movie. It looks like the best movie. It's probably my favorite movie of the year. Mm-hmm. And I texted him. I was like, should have came over and have sex with you. Because this movie was fucking disappointing. I mean, sex is disappointing a lot of times, too. Because it's just like, man.
With you, I can imagine.
No, it's not with me. It's just like, people ain't on, like, the freakiness I am, you know? Like, if you ain't trying to get a tongue in the asshole, adios. But enough about my sex life.
Yikes.
Yeah, like you ain't never put a tongue in the asshole before.
But I don't talk about it on camera.
So
Relatability. I like movies. They like movies. They like assholes. Putting the tongues in them. You know, we're connecting. Unlike you used to wear Jurassic Park shirts. But you're a great guy.
Great film.
And I know that. And that's all that matters. I would make YouTube videos with anybody else.
Great show.
It is a great show. We're going to talk about shows. We're talking about disappointing movies of 2020. That was my number
All right.
one.
So my number one, I didn't want it to be my number one. The more I think about it, I wish that I had made The Photograph my number one. But I didn't. I'm going to stick with my list. But I didn't want it to be my number one because I wanted this movie to blow me away.
Is that what disappointing means?
Yeah, it is. And like one of my favorite directors, a great actor, about a phenomenal film.
It came close.
And it's
a good movie
and
too.
It's Mank. And and the thing is it is a very good movie, and I did enjoy it. And it just comes back to like the theme that we've been talking about the whole time. It was just expectation. Like, David Fincher is making a film. He's doing it in black and white. So many of the shots from the trailer were like, that is literally a shot from Citizen Kane. This is going to be so good. And like, it had some tonal issues. It was a little too slow in some parts. It's almost like he made it too old. And the thing is I love old movies.
That's a fact.
But I'm not really sure where the disconnect was. And it really is like a my fault thing, because now that I think about it, it's like, why was I expecting? I think it's because like I've seen so many biopics, and so many of those biopics are like just super like emotionally impactful films. And, you know, this one was just about a guy who was mad at the world for not understanding him, but there really wasn't any of that like, let us help the audience understand him the way that he wished everyone else did. It was just like, yeah, he's really bitter at Orson Welles and some other rich people, to the point where he wrote a script about how crappy they are. And it's like, wow, I guess I really shouldn't have expected.
Yeah.
Like,
Facts.
the more, like, when I really think about what the plot is, it's like, why did I expect this to hit me harder?
I don't know!
But still a great movie. And there's so many things I love about it, but what I got versus like the expectations that I set for myself, my fault, not there.
Yeah, and that was very close to being my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, why would I want to pick one movie when I could pick 2 movies? Because it was very close. And I had a similar thing. The reason why I kept it off my list wasn't because there was 2 movies compared to 1, even though that's funny to say, is 10, 15 years, I think this movie's just going to go up in value with people.
Yeah,
So-
I hope it does. And I hope it made a lot of people actually go watch Citizen Kane and like break that like film bro stigma around it of like it's only for snobby like film snobs. It's like a really good movie.
Yeah, it made me go back and watch it. But those are our top 5 most disappointing movies of 2020. We got the best and worst coming up in the next couple weeks. So if you want to see those, subscribe so you can keep updated on it. Comment down below what are some of your most disappointing movies of 2020. Subscribe up, hit the like button, share the video if you didn't do it the first time.
Please.
Subscribe.